everybody, and welcome to the NXT review. And honestly, early reaction here. I don't think that this was an NXT I would recommend to anybody. You know that today's NXT was pre-recorded. We know that last week they did it. Obviously, after last week's episode, that's why you saw some of the same superstars wear the same gear. But man, I think this episode was pretty depressing. Many people on social media are saying it was relatively good. I just don't agree with that statement. I think that yes, this show was worth watching, but it's not something that I would recommend to a new viewer trying to get into NXT. If anything, I think this episode will be the reason why you wouldn't want to watch NXT if you are a new viewer. So I'm gonna go through everything that happened, share my thoughts. Also, I want you to share your thoughts in the comments below, and we're gonna both decide if this episode was worth the watch. Starting off with Ricky Saints opening, calling out Trick for walking out on the Team NXT team at Showdown, which caused them to lose. Trick would appear on the Jumbotron short after and said that he's going to face Ricky Saints at Halloween Havoc on his time, and then to end the segment, he would say, "See you soon, champ." We know that would be announced Halloween Havoc, Ricky versus Trick. Very interested to see how that goes. Later in the show, we would see Trick attack Ricky, and that was pretty cool to see as well. So Ricky would obviously be mad at that and tell Ava that he attacked him behind his back and that he wants revenge and everything like that. And the contract signing will be happening next week. The opener was very good. I loved Ricky's segment. I did not know how much I don't know how much I like Trick being on the Jumbotron. Definitely a weird angle to take. Obviously, Trick coming off of a hot loss against Mike Santana at Bound for Glory. I think that it's good to get him into a hot storyline like this. And personally, I think this is the best thing for Trick because you don't want a high-profile superstar like this that's been the MVP of NXT and TNA of 2025. I think that you should not have him getting into a boring storyline right after being TNA champ. So I think it's very good. We're letting him refresh with Ricky Saints, the NXT champ. So now he's going back to his roots and hopefully going to win the NXT championship. But it's definitely going to suck to see him lose at Halloween Havoc. But at this point, it's just to see how he loses. I wonder who's going to come and stop him from winning. I think that Oba's definitely a possibility. We still got to keep Oba in our minds. Yes, we are focused on main roster for Obafemi, but there's also that slim chance that they're not done with him in NXT. The reports have came out saying that they're not done with Obafemi in NXT, and this could be the main reason why is for him to come back and cost Ricky, come back and cost Trick, come back and cost really anybody that's holding that NXT championship to make him the top priority in NXT. So I think we need to keep having Obafemi on our brain and not main roster Obafemi. I think that's what fans are getting tricked up with. Obviously, I am as well. I'm looking for him every week in the Sami Zayn Open Challenge, but it's something that we shouldn't be. I think that it needs to be where we need to think about NXT Obafemi that rather than main roster Obafemi because his time's not done. I don't think his time's over. We would then see Josh Briggs defeat Matt Cardona. We would see Matt Cardona use the Unpretty Her in this match, which Josh would kick out. We would see Josh hit multiple crazy moves. Matt would kick out. Really a back and forth match. I loved it. I think it was good for Matt Cardona on his first time on NXT in so long. Very good match. I was super impressed with this match. Josh obviously winning, which was something that shocked me, to be honest. I thought Cardona, and Booker T slid up one time here. He said that Cardona has paved his way as a indie star, but he said that as an underground star. So that was pretty funny. But one main thing that I was like, wow, was to see how Briggs pulled this out. How did Briggs win? That means they have plans for Briggs. Would I be surprised if Briggs instantly shoots up to main roster? Or not main roster, but main event talent size here? I think he could definitely play a huge part in Ricky and Trick. And that's a hot take. I would like to have free time tomorrow to see where he could fit in that rivalry. But it's definitely something I'm going to do some research on and see if I can fit him in somewhere into the booking that I think should happen. So I would be excited if Josh Briggs does end up going to that next level in the main event scene here. So I'm excited. I think that Josh Briggs defeating Matt Cardona was a big step in his run. Obviously defeating Yoshiki Inamura. Yoshiki being off TV since Philly. I don't know if y'all have noticed that. Yoshiki's been off TV since Philadelphia street fight that he had with Josh Briggs. That's interesting as well. Josh's past demons could come back. Another rivalry, something to keep your mind on as well. I think that's definitely something to keep an eye on. We would see Leon Slater and Javon Evans get along backstage, and this is scary. This is a scary tag team. We know we did see them team up a few weeks ago, I believe against Hank and Tank. I'm sure I'm wrong. I think it was the Culling, actually. I'm almost certain it's the Culling. And we saw them do absolutely great work. They had a banger match against the Culling. I was super impressed. So I think that them talking about being a tag team and then them going up to Santino and Ava, asking who they can face as a tag team is very intriguing. One team I would like to see them face, obviously Hank and Tank, as well as OTM returning tonight. We will get there. That was very cool to see as well. But I think right here is very scary. And as well, we saw a backstage segment with Leon and Javon where we would see Stax come up with Ariana Grace, and Santino would give him the match just because he's going to be his future son-in-law. So that's an interesting angle. We know we've been hinting at that for a couple of weeks. We've been seeing them backstage during the Chelsea Green recruitings of the Secret Harvest, but we never knew it was anything serious. We just thought they were talking. There was multiple segments backstage where they were talking, but now they were seen holding hands. That he called him his future son-in-law. It's serious. It's serious now. So I'm excited, but at the same time, Leon's going to retain. I'm super happy about that. I hate that assuming, by the way. I hate assuming that somebody's going to win. But whenever you know without a shadow of a doubt that he's going to win, it's hard to do, but in pro wrestling, that's what you're going to get. I mean, it's always been that way. You know who's going to win certain matches. You don't know who's not. You know, it's just always going to be that way. But Javon would end this segment saying that he's going to keep a close eye on the match, which is good because, you know, they're trying to be tag teams. So looking very good there. I'm excited to see where that leads us. Dr. Wagner Jr. would defeat Lexus King, and as Vic says, shut his mouth. And after the match, Ethan Page would come out, and it would get announced that it will be a Day of the Dead match where anything goes at Halloween Havoc. So obviously a rerun of Dr. Wagner Jr. and Ethan Page from AAA. We know they've been having a storyline for a while now. It's been about a month, so I'm excited to finally cap the rivalry off, hopefully. And not keep this going any longer. I personally love Dr. Wagner Jr. in ring. I just don't gravitate to his character. He does not ring a bell for me that would want to make me tune in to more of his work. Obviously, whenever WWE streams a AAA show, I'm always going to watch it. But he's not going to be somebody that I'm going to go out of my way to watch highlights of or anything like that. He's just not a superstar that I gravitate to personally. And I'm sure there's many of you guys out there that do gravitate to him greatly, but I just don't. I just think that he's definitely overhyped in my eyes, at least. But let me know what you think about that. We would see Blake Monroe defeat Zarya. This ending was insane. Sol Ruka would go up and grab the chair out of Blake Monroe's hand after Blake grabbed the chair and tried to cheat. So we would see Sol grab that chair. We would see Sol technically cost Zarya because Blake Monroe would grab a hair clip out of her hair and get Zarya right in the throat where she would be able to win. And that was insane. I think that obviously backstage they did clear it up. Sol would get, obviously her being in the Battle Royal, supposed to be in the Battle Royal, and then giving her spot to Zarya just for the mistakes. So now they're completely cleared up, and they're putting their eyes on Charlotte versus Alexa, or Charlotte and Alexa. That's very good to see. I've always been kind of scared to see, especially with the storylines they've been putting them in. Is Zaruka going to break up? No. I hope not, but right here makes me really, really happy to see that they're not pushing it. At least they're being very civilized and they're working together and they're being great. I love how Sol gave her spot because it isn't like she was going to win anyway. But the way Zarya eliminated herself in the Battle Royal definitely makes me question. Sol could be mad at Zarya for that. I could see a world where Sol would be mad. No, she's not a heel character, but this would be a reason to be like, hey, what are you doing? You know? So obviously giving her spot to Zarya, Sol could think that she could have done better when Zarya was on the top rope. Blake came out during the Battle Royal and attacked Sol Ruka at ringside. Zarya would hop down from the top rope, which would eliminate herself and check on Sol. There's a world where Sol can be mad at her. I don't think that she will be, but there's definitely a world where we could see Zaruka have more issues just because Zarya tried to help her. So that's insane to think. Obviously, that's going to take another week to figure out what we're really doing here. And maybe even take until SmackDown. You know, when they are on SmackDown every week in a backstage segment and half the time a match as well. So I'm excited to see if we continue the NXT storyline on SmackDown. So I'm excited. I really hope we can get a continuation of that on SmackDown. Hank and Tank versus Chase U versus the Culling would end in a no contest due to OTM returning. Very cool. That match right there would obviously get announced for next week. Hank and Tank versus OTM. Super exciting. Going to be a match you're not going to want to miss. If you've never tuned in to OTM's matches, if you've never saw one of their matches, next week I believe they will impress you. Obviously, we have not saw them on TV in a hot minute now, so it's going to be maybe different to see them in a ring, but they're definitely a insane tag team in the ring. Somebody I think will impress you if you've never saw their in-ring work, so tune in next week. And then we get to the main event battle royal. My favorite part of the night. Did not like the finish, but I'll elaborate on that. We would see Lash Legend eliminate Jada Parker, continuing that rivalry, which is something I don't think is right. Obviously, my pick was Jada Parker. I thought that Jada would be the obvious answer to win, but she was not. We would see the last three come down to Tatum, PAXLEY, Izzy, Damon, Jordan, Grace. Three people that, I guess is contenders. Thought that Jordan had it in the bag at this point, but we would see Jordan and Tatum on the apron. Izzy would come to eliminate Jordan and end up both eliminating themselves, where we would see Tatum, PAXLEY win. Not what I was expecting out of the Blue Moon at all. And I think Shawn Michaels thinks he's in his Duffy right now. He thinks he's in his Duffy bag. He's really not. I think that, there's going to be a handful of you guys that are like, oh my gosh, Tatum deserves this so much. Great storyline. Let's go. Tatum versus JC. Let's go. Guys, do you understand that this has nothing to do with JC Jane at all? Put the puzzle pieces together, please. Have you ever saw Tatum and JC interact? And if you has that ever incorporated in your mind? Title match? No, it hasn't. Or at least not in the past 2 months. So there's no reason she should be winning this and going on to face her at Halloween Havoc. There's no alliance there. After the match, we would see Lyra Valkyria come out and celebrate with Tatum. And I don't think that Tatum winning was WWE or Shawn Michaels trying to get more eyes on Tatum PAXLEY. I think this was fully just to get more eyes. Or I don't think this was a push for Tatum PAXLEY. I think this was a push to get more eyes on the feud of Izzy Dame and Tatum PAXLEY and Lyra Valkyria. Obviously, Lyra being one of the huge stars in WWE on the main roster. She's obviously involved in the storyline now. So I think that it was just to get eyes on the storyline. It isn't eyes to get on the feud or just not to get eyes on Tatum PAXLEY. Definitely did not think Tatum would win. Still don't think it's the right decision as I'm speaking about it now. Obviously, a lot of thoughts run through your head while you're doing these reviews, thinking that maybe sometimes it might work out. I just don't see a world where I'll be impressed at Halloween Havoc. Not with the match. I think the match will be great. I think that Tatum's not horrible in the ring. I actually kind of enjoyed in the ring, but I would have way rather see Jada Parker or Kalani Jordan, something like that. My top three, the people who I thought could have won, was Jada Parker, Mara Sade, and Lola Vice. Those were my three. Obviously, Kalani Jordan was definitely a close third, or a close fourth, but the only reason I thought that Kalani would have been a good answer was because both captains of the TNA and NXT women's team, so I thought that would align somewhere there, but you can't hold up both champions. Lola, obviously losing at No Mercy, I thought that would be a good option. Jada just came off of a hot win against Lash Legend and Showdown, so I thought it would be the obvious answer to give her the win, let her go on to face JC, win the title. JC's had it for about 140 days now, so thought it was about time, but they're just completely throwing Jada under the bus. Why do we keep using Lash Legend as a fallback for Jada Parker? It's time to push her. It's time. Did you hear the pop she got in her entrance? I don't think you did. I don't think Shawn Michaels did at all, actually, because there's no way that you hear that pop week in and week out. The fans are loving Jada Parker. You just put her in a rivalry with Lash Legend and get a cheap pop every time she wins. Yes, they're putting on great matches. Yes, it's insane moments. Yes, it's clip farming. Yes, it's everything. But I don't care. Jada Parker should have won this battle royal, and that's it. Tatum should not have won it. The only reason we made Tatum win was to get more eyes on the feud of Izzy and Tatum. Jada should have won. Either it should have been Jada, Kalani, or Lola. Those are the three. Anything else is unacceptable. We played no storyline building at all into Jordan or Kalani, which there was like a little argument before the match between Jordan and Kalani. So nothing played into that. It was just, I don't know, just don't like it there. Don't like it at all. But yeah, that's my ramble on that. We'll also get to next week's NXT card as well as the Halloween Havoc card so far. Next week, we have Leon versus Stacks for the X Division title. OTM will face Hank and Tank. We got the men's speed tournament semifinal with Axiom faces Sean Legacy and Jasper Troy facing Zachary Wentz. TNA Zachary Wentz, SmackDown Axiom, Evolve Sean Legacy, and obviously NXT Jasper Troy. This was interesting. Whoever wins this will go into a match to see who will face El Grande Americano for that men's speed title. And that'll be interesting for sure. But trial and error. I'm excited to see how that goes. The women's one's been thriving with that first match against Jada and Soul. Very cool. And then the Halloween Havoc card. JC Jane will face Tatum Paxley for the NXT Women's Championship. Ricky Saints will face Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. We will see the Hardys versus Dark State, which 2 members of Dark State has not been said yet for those tag titles. I'm pretty sure this will be a winner takes all. Has not been announced, but it should be for sure. We will see a North American title Day of the Dead match between Ethan Page and El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. So, I just can't. I can't with this episode, man. I think that, obviously, I've said it multiple times during this episode, during this review. I just think that this episode was not what I was looking for. Yes, it had so many key parts that you really need to pay attention to. It's gonna be a show I go back and rewatch, but just to see what's next for the storylines, not what's next for the matches or anything like that. This show is not going to be a show that I'm going to go back and rewatch because the match was so good. I might go back and rewatch the Battle Royal because it was pretty good, but it was pretty boring at the same time. Yes, there was big names getting thrown out every time you look, but at the same time, the in-ring aspect wasn't that good. We saw the Inspiration clean house there for a little bit, then they got eliminated. But yeah, I just think that this episode was pretty depressing, though. Pretty depressing. Definitely was not expecting it to be like this. I thought we were going to have a banger episode, but like this thing says, man, please like and subscribe on today's video because we have a lot more coming. We have videos every day here on this channel. We're doing pro wrestling videos every day, and the grind's never going to stop. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I know I sure did. I didn't really enjoy NXT, or I think that I'm low-key just bitter on the ending of Tatum Paxley winning. The rest of the show wasn't that bad, but for sure think that Tatum winning was not the right choice. But let me know what y'all think down below because I know that I'm going to be a rare opinion about that. But hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see y'all boys in the next one. Deuces.